All right. I can barely hear myself. I'm trying the wrong one. That's probably why. All right. Good evening and welcome to Real Talk Tuesday. You see my name on the screen right there. I am Jamal and got a great show for you this evening. A lot of things I want to talk about. There's some things that's been on my mind here, right here, especially after the election is, all done and the primary elections that is. And I kind of went back and started looking over things and looking over rewatching speeches and things like that, and just making sure before I'm critical that hey, what I'm critical of did not happen. And so tonight, okay, we're going to talk about the impeachment of the mayor of Andrews, South Carolina tonight. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're also going to talk some more about campaign financing and the money that's attached to it. I want to welcome everybody in from out in Kingstree, South Carolina. Shout out to my folks out in Columbia. If you know somebody that lives out in the Summit, please tag them. Bamberg County. We're going to talk a little bit about Bamberg County tonight. But I want to start with something that happened about 10 days ago in the Summit over in Columbia, South Carolina, for those of you who don't know about what happened. And my point in saying this is, about the Cyrus Mack case that happened in Columbia. And what I'm going to be talking about here right now is a shootout that took place in the Summit, which is a residential community, densely populated residential community in Richland County, Columbia, South Carolina. It's an affluent neighborhood, meaning there's some, got to be working class people over there, and what I'm about to talk about, it shouldn't just affect the people of Richland County. This shouldn't just bother those families that were involved in this case. We're talking about a shootout in a community that eventually, when the deputies responded to this shootout, they took on gunfire. Okay, there was a series. There was two drive-bys in the Summit, and the deputies ended up under fire. Now, again, you've heard everything there is to hear about the Cyrus Mack case. You've heard everything that there is to hear about the kid that just got to 35 years in Texas, Carmelo Anthony. And by the way, if you think stabbing somebody is the proper response for a push, I don't care how hard the push was. If you think stabbing somebody through the heart is a proper response, yeah, you are the problem. Okay. You got houses that were shot up over in the Summit. And just here a couple days ago here in Bamberg County, in Denmark to be exact, you got two young people that have been, let's see, I'm on YouTube, that have been unalived. Two young people that have been unalived, and now a young suspect has been arrested in connection with this double homicide. Again, then we look back at the trial involving the shopkeeper that shot and killed that 14-year-old boy, and you think about the fact that that case it split people emotionally, it split racially, politically, and morally. But beneath all the arguments, beneath all of the courtroom language, beneath the outrage behind the verdict, there's one question that we still have not answered. And what's that question? The question is, why are so many young people carrying guns in the first place? And that's the conversation that your politicians, when it came to your church here in this last round, this is what they neglected to talk to you about. One of the things that's directly affecting you. There was a kid, somebody shot in Andrews the other day. So, they come to the church, they come to the fish fries, they come to the forums, they come to the parades, they take pictures, they talk about values, they talk about jobs, all good things. They talk about roads, all good things. They talk about taxes. But when they stand in front of you, and they're going to be standing in front of you again, the question that you need to be asking is not about which party to blame for the gun violence. You need to ask that prospective politician, what are you going to do about the gun violence? Not what are you going to say in a speech? Not are you going to show up after the bodies hit the floor? What are you going to do? What is your plan? Again, not what you're going to say about it. And no, not it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's the Democrats' fault. Nobody cares about none of that. What are you going to do? Do you have a plan to put forth some legislation? What are you going to do? That's the question we need to ask. Because, if you're as old as I am and you pay attention as like I do, and if some of these people are being honest, right? We've been here before. But because people got compromised politically, They had to act as if law and order is a problem. You don't think we've been here before? Let me put this on the screen right here to help you, give you a little visual aid here to help you here. Oh, did I put it up there? No, I didn't, but I can now. Let's create a banner. Let's paste that there. Okay. How do I know we've been there before? Because of this bill right here, HR 355, the 1994 crime bill. Okay. Now, I understand some of you are hearing that. You like, where did I hear that at before? They use that. They try to use that against politicians, right? Saying that it disproportionately affected the Black community. And that might be, and may or may not, that might be, may or may not have been true. But what I'm talking to you about right now is, why did this happen? Okay. What was going on in the leading up to 1994 to make them come out with this drastic bill? And that's why I don't like politics, because it's a game of make you forget. Let's act like we don't remember what was going on during the crack era. The 1994 crime bill was born out of a national panic over violence, drugs, gangs, shootings, and a public that felt like communities were slipping out of control. That's what happened. Again, now we can debate the legacy of the bill all day long. It was disproportionately affecting the Black community. And we should debate parts of that bill. Some parts of it were harmful. Some parts damaged communities. Some parts helped to fuel mass incarceration. But we cannot ignore why it happened. You can't. Because the country reached a breaking point back then. That's why it happened. People were tired of being scared. Tired of burying their children. Tired of watching their neighborhoods become crime scenes. And tired of politicians giving speeches after the funerals. And here we are, once again. So before you clap for a candidate, ask them. Okay, you got a young Black boy in your family. Before you put that campaign sign in your yard, you better ask them. Pastors, before you let them sit in your church, ask them. Community leaders, before you let them come to your community and take your vote, ask them, what is your plan for gun violence? How are you going to stop these guns from getting into the hands of these teenagers? How are you going to support law enforcement without ignoring civil rights? How are you going to hold violent offenders accountable without throwing away an entire generation? How are you going to invest in prevention before the sheriff and other law enforcement agency have to show up and slap the cuffs on them or end up in a shootout? Because it's not a police problem. And I get it as to why this is a video I'm getting ready to show you guys here. I understand why $50,000, $60,000. Nah, not with the reality of what people, law enforcement that is facing on a nightly basis, a daily basis out in the street. This is not just, again, this is not just a police problem. It's not just a parenting problem. This is not just a school problem. This is not just a poverty problem. This is a leadership problem. And tonight, I want y'all to listen closely to Sheriff Leland Lott when I play this clip right here, because what he's describing is a community in crisis. And if the people running for office don't have the courage to talk about it, then maybe they don't deserve to govern. So this is going to be a big question for Jermaine Johnson.
Lots of stuff that we had.
All right, so obviously I don't have my speaker set up. There we go, right there. And that should take care of that. So once I start playing this, somebody let me know if you can hear it. If you can't, let me know, please.
The process. After I showed the videos from body cams from last week, I had quite a few military people who approached me, called me and said, that sounded like that was in Iraq. Sounded like that was in Afghanistan with the number of shots that were fired. And it really was. Only by the grace of God that our 3 deputies did not get killed. God put his arms of protection around them and took care of them. So as you see in front of me, and I'll go over this in just a few minutes, this is the firepower that we are facing. And not just us in law enforcement, this is what the community is being subjected to. This started off as shooting into 2 homes in a very crowded neighborhood out in the Summit. These are the type of weapons that these young people have out in our community who just do not care what they do, who they shoot at, where the bullets are going. This is weapons that you would see in a war, and it is a war. It is a war that we're fighting out here. The men and women who wear these uniforms are out here every single day fighting people who've got guns like this and who don't care. Our citizens are the same way, that being subjected to guns like this, shootings in neighborhoods, drive-by shootings, for what? And that's what you got to stand up here and just shake your head about and say, well, what is this all about? As far as the shootings that I'm going to talk about, we really don't know why. All the individuals knew each other, knew where each other lived, why they did it. I have no clue. We have 2 separate investigations going on. We have a critical incident team who's investigating also involved shooting. Since one of our deputies fired the shot that killed the man that was found dead. And then we have our major crimes, so investigating the whole big picture, the shootings into the 2 residents and everybody that's been involved in this. I will tell you that we have recovered 200 shell casings, which is 200 bullets that were fired by the people involved, not us, but by the people involved in this. We've identified 5 people that I will talk about on Team A. So we have Team A and we have Team B, and they go back and forth. Team A is the 5 that we've identified so far. We've arrested 3. One of them is deceased, and we have 1 that we're still looking for. I will tell you there's going to be some parents that are going to go to jail, if that's what you want to call them. So we have adults that were involved in this, that helped it, that assisted, that were part of it. They're going to go to jail too. So when I talk about the one that we're looking for now, he's getting help by family and friends to avoid us. So we don't catch him. We're going to catch him. He's going to get caught. But anybody who helps him is going to go to jail too. So I hope everybody hears that loud and clear out in this community, that when they see his picture and know we're looking for him, that if you help him in any way, then you're going to get locked up too. So we'll start off with a body cam. Some people wanted to know, how did they know that y'all were deputies? So I'm going to show a body cam from one of the officers that were there, and I want you to listen to her twice. She identified Sheriff's Department. Put your hands up. Twice she identified Sheriff's Department.
Oh, shit.
All right, you heard it twice. Sheriff's Department, put your guns down, put your hands up, twice. So there was no doubt when they were shooting who they were shooting at. They were shooting at Deputy Sheriff from Richland County Sheriff's Department. Next. All right, first shooting starts here. This is where the first shooting starts. You have Team B who goes to Team A and shoots. And then you have Team A who gets together and decides, all right, we're going to go shoot back. So they go back and they do a shooting. So you have 2 different shootings in the residence. Then you have where our deputies respond and we do a track with our canine. You have canine officer, have another deputy to do the track. That's where they track to where you saw in the back of the house where they identified themselves and the shooting starts. Timeline. Team B does drive-by shooting of Team A. Team A goes to meet up. They get together. They go, and Team A does a shooting at Team B's house. And then our deputies respond, and they do a track, and then we end up back where on Legion Oaks, where are the shooting of our deputies. Now, the body cams that we showed last week, they just didn't stand in one place and shoot. We actually have videos of them circling the deputies and trying to flank them and then shooting at the same time. So this was not just one place with deputies, one place with the bad guys. Our deputies were trying to get away. They're trying to flank them or they're trying to shoot them. These are the ones that we've arrested. All right, Deaver is the one that was shot and killed by our deputy, Abdullah. We found a bag that has 2 of his phones, his driver's license, and 3 guns in it. One of the guns was used in the shooting. You have Buford, who was 18 at the time of shooting. He's had a birthday in jail, so he was involved in it. We also have a 16-year-old brother. Attention here him yesterday in family court where he was detained. The solicitor's office will be doing a waiver to get him charged as an adult. And then you have Lindsay also, who's charged also. They're charged with 3 counts of attempted murder for trying to kill our deputies, along with some other charges. We have another one we're looking for. Taji 21, going to be charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. He's the one that's on the run. So if your parents of him are out there, family members, you're not doing him any favors by keeping him out in the street. So we will find him. So if you want to do the right thing, then you need to bring him in. But he's the one that we're looking for. You look at these guns, at the arrests that we've made, you see the guns that we've seized. I think 1 or 2 of them are stolen. You've got 3 of these rifles that have been modified where they shoot fully automatic. Some of the shootings that you heard was where you pull the trigger one time and the gun just keeps on firing. You see the extended magazines, you see the number of bullets that these guns will shoot. It was deadly out there that night, very deadly. Again, we're very lucky that our deputies are alive. It was bad. So appreciate the assistance of the community. That community in Northeast Columbia, the Summit area, helped us. They provided information. They provided videos from cameras that they had. Has helped us out tremendously. Our investigators have been working around the clock on these cases. and we will continue to do it. We have not even started locking up Team B yet. We focus on Team A because that's the ones who shot at us. But Team B was the one who started it by shooting the house where Team A was at. We'll get Team B too. So parents out there, if you know that your child was involved in this, you need to go ahead and bring them on in, because if not, then you're going to get a knock on your door about 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll go to jail at that point. Again, very complex investigation, a lot of moving parts going with it. Everybody, this is in a full court press by the Sheriff's Department from DNA. We've matched DNA up from some of the suspects on some of the weapons, ballistics, tying all the guns into all the different shootings. We've got ballistics to tie guns into the shootings at Team B's house, along with shooting at our deputy. So you see the type of weapons that we're faced with. So that is the update. We'll continue to work it. And next time I stand up here, it's going to be announcing that we've got some more arrests. Questions?
Is Miller, are we still believing that he is a danger to the community?
Yeah, he's a danger to the community. That's what kind of stuff he's got right here. Yeah, he's a danger. That's why he needs to go to jail. He tried to kill 3 cops. I think that right there tells you he's a danger to this community.
You said that 2 guns were stolen. What about the rest of the guns?
Well, that's where we're going to be making some other charges on some people on how they were able to obtain these guns. You know, these aren't hunting guns. These are not guns that you don't go out as a sportsman to hunt. These are guns used to kill people. That's what these guns are for.
Are you saying these 17 guns came off of 3 people?
No, I'm saying that search warrants that we've done, that these are guns that we recovered from people involved in this case.
How are the officers that responded?
They perform very professionally. I think you saw that on the body cam that we showed earlier on decisions that they made. They engaged initially, and then they tried to take cover and then tried to get out of the kill zone, which they were able to do. So you just imagine being shot at as many times as they were shot at. I think so far we've recovered 62 bullets or shell casings from where they were shot at. And again, we're still finding shell casings. We're still finding bullets that's went into sheds, went into houses. So this is continuing.
With the parents' involvement, what exactly?
All right, so now the question is, why isn't that national news? Why isn't that the talk on social media? These are 2 black groups shooting at each other, at black people. And now they're having to explain why one of them ended up dead. This was in the summit. This highlights why what Mr. Brian Gary, and hopefully he'll be able to come on this Thursday, guys. We're going to be launching a new show. I'm going to be it's basically Coach E, Mr. Eric Morton. He has a program, and we need to build a podcast around it, because what is obvious out here in these streets, if you are the mother of a child, male or female, if that child has no direction, that child, the culture will consume them. That's why people like Coach E, Brian Gary, shout out to Brian Gary, the director of the YMCA. If you're able to, you really need to fucking donate to the YMCA. What they're doing for children that are not theirs is remarkable. Shout out to the coach over from Coach Richards from Carver's Bay, and Coach Giles, Judge Giles from Carver's Bay, and what's my man name from Charleston, and all these other men involved in that program that Brian Gary has put together. Jeremiah Jackson. Making a real difference. You know why? Because they're giving them boys direction. Will they save every boy that come across them? God bless them if they do. That's the goal. But I know what they're doing is going to have an impact, because I see and I know what happens to young boys that don't have no direction, and they reach the age of 14, 15, and they don't know what the hell they want to do with themselves. A man with no direction is dangerous to the environment. Did you catch that there was a juvenile involved in that case there? And I can't stress enough to you, those who know. This happened in the summit. Okay, how much money you making? If your child has no direction, I don't care how successful you are. If your child doesn't have direction, if your child isn't pointed toward goals, these streets will consume them. This could be an opportunity. This could be the opportunity that Jermaine Johnson carries to Columbia in a real way. These programs like Rising Gents and all of these other programs, and they got a lot of programs. I was at the rec the other day, during the Rising Gents program. They got a lot of things there for people to do, for young people to do. But it takes somebody that loves their child enough to sacrifice their time and a few dollars, maybe, when a lot of them programs at the rec were free. We are here again. Some of you, the first time you heard about the 1994 crime bill, it was a political wedge issue, right? It was an issue that was used to bludgeon some Democrats over the head, saying that they participated in this racist bill. Well, we're here again, okay? Because that shooting that happened in Richland County, and did you see all those guns? Did you see the type of guns that they had? That's what was happening back in 94. But we can act like it's, you know what I mean? Again, this week, 2 dead in Bamberg County. And where is the march, the outrage? These were young black people. The problem is that another young black person kills them. So that's where we're going to hold that at tonight. We don't need to talk about the impeachment, because the idea that somebody would waste their money with these gas prices being the way that they are to impeach. I wish they could impeach a mayor. I mean, that would you're talking about putting Andrews on the map, bro. That would mean Andrews would have had to seceded from the United States, seceded from the state of South Carolina. We are our own country at that point. In order to impeach the mayor. By the way, that's why the mayor didn't make it tonight. He's working on his impeachment trial defense. Nah, he he doing what I wouldn't be doing in that office working for $600, maybe for 200,000. But sometimes people just care like that, I guess, for real. But anyway, yeah, we here again, y'all. We are here again. And this show is sponsored by